Hey horror fans, once again it's the Horror Miser Monty G, and I'm going to do another video tag. Yes, this one is the Freddy Krueger video tag. My favorite horror icon, Freddy Krueger himself. I'm going to enjoy doing this one. Now it seems we're getting a lot of tags in the horror community. First we had werewolves from my good horror gal Queenie Todd. We had vampire tags from Lizzie from Carnage Candy. We had zombie tags from my boy Dave Maggot. We have zombie tags. We have we have all types of supernatural creatures. Now we've got the horror icons. There's a Michael Myers tag out there. There is a Jason tag out there. And of course we now have this, the Freddy Krueger video tag. This one comes from Sean Erschen. I think I mispronounced your name right. His channel is the Horror Corner. I will leave a link in the description for him below. So you can check out his channel. He's got some pretty good content on it. And of course, this is his tag. So here he is. I'm going to talk about my favorite horror icon, Freddy Krueger. Here we go. Now, there are 8 questions in the Freddy Krueger tag. And the question number 1 is, what is your favorite dream sequence in the franchise? Now, there are a lot of dream sequences that are pretty spectacular throughout the Nightmare on Elm Street run. Some people have chose a few of some of my favorites. There's the one in Nightmare 3 when Freddy comes to a snake and he almost eats Trisha Parkett's character in Nightmare 3, Dream Warriors. There are a few others that people have chosen, but actually my favorite dream sequence will come from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Freddy is talking to Lisa, I believe that's the character's name, and they're in a cafeteria. And she actually sees an older version of herself saying, what are you going to order? Let's not like I got all day, like she's stuck in that same position that she is as a young person. And out comes Freddy, talks to her. He's the service met by soul, but the food is excellent. And he has his pizza. That's a nice looking pizza too, even for a dream sequence. And the meatballs are little pieces of soul. And he goes, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, sticks his claw finger in it, and he says their brother Joey, who he just killed earlier in the film, takes the meatball and eats it, and he says to her, I love soul food. It's an excellent dream sequence, and really shows Freddy at his best. And eventually he tells Lisa to bring him more. And we know the next following scene that he goes after one of her friends, which I might talk about later on as part of this tag. But yeah, my favorite dream sequence is the restaurant dream in Nightmare 4, The Dream Master. Question number 2, what is your favorite film in the franchise? Now, most people know that I'm a huge Freddy Krueger fan. It's my favorite horror icon. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that my favorite film in the franchise is A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. It's the best one of the series. That's my favorite one. It really brings the Freddy character into light. He's still a bit frightening, but he's becoming more of a jokester in this film. He has some great one-liners in the film. There's some great, awesome scenes and kills in the film. He really comes out to his own, and I thought it was a great balance of the dream sequences and the reality part right there. And of course, everyone talks about the great soundtrack by Dokken. I believe that's the name of the band that plays the soundtrack. They also have a song called Dream Warriors, which fits the style of the movie because it's just strictly 80s, and everything is streaks of 80s. When you're talking about that movie. So my favorite film in the franchise will be A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Question number 3. Do you think Nightmare 2 should have followed the events of the first movie, or does it work as a standalone film? I actually thought that was a pretty interesting question, and to me it's kind of an easy answer. While it does mention Nancy, and they're supposed to be living in the same house that Nancy grew up, but she's only mentioned in passing, I think it does work best as a standalone film. It's not one of the better ones as far as my opinion is concerned, but it does hold its own as a standalone film. The film does have some controversy in it because because probably not intentionally or unintentionally, there are some sort of gay references in the film itself, but no one really picked on it in the back when it first came out. It was just strictly just Freddy being Freddy. And one of my favorite scenes in the film, when he talks to Jesse, "Kill for me, Jesse. We can make a great team. You got the body," and he peels off his brains, "and I got the brains." Great Freddy line right there. Yeah, but yeah, Nightmare 2 works as a standalone film. Like I said, it's not the worst. It's not one of the better ones as far as my opinion is concerned, but it does work as a standalone film. So yeah, to me, it works better as a standalone film. Really didn't need to follow the events of the first film, but the third film does make up for it. Question number 4 is, what is your favorite kill in the franchise? Now, there are a lot of nice kills throughout the franchise. So people take the motorcycle scene in Nightmare 5. There's some other nice, decent kills in the first one. Tina's kill in the first one. There's some good scenes. There's some good kills in Nightmare 3. But I'm going to go, yes, but there is a couple of kills in actually Nightmare 3, but I'm going to pick one special kill. Happens early in the film. Freddy there's these two kids sleeping in the whatchamacallit. I can't remember the character's name, but it was the black guy and the other guy. I can't remember his name. But he's sleeping, and he's got marionettes or puppets hanging up on the wall. While he's dreaming, one morphs into Freddy, and it looks like the old stop motion effects that we see in the beginning. We saw back in the 60s and 70s. Some of that stop motion effects. Freddy eventually grows, and next thing you know, he wakes up and goes shh. And he takes his claw and slices his arms and slices his legs, and next thing you know, he really just pulls his tendons out of his whatchamacallit, the hole he made, and he's walking like a marionette or a puppet, and he's like got him on strings, so you control him that way, and it really looked really kind of messy, kind of a bit gory. I think that still holds up today if you haven't seen it before, but it definitely looked really grossed out when you saw it in the theaters. And eventually, he's walking, he's got his tendons, and he takes them all the way up to the top of the stairs. Now, of course, in reality, it looks like the kid is just sleepwalking, and eventually, he walks up to the top where they're staying at this special school, or I guess it's some facility that houses teenagers that are having mental issues. And in the dream sequence, Freddy's still holding him up with his whatchamacallit. He takes him up, he cuts the tendons off, and the guy falls off the roof and eventually kills him. So I really thought that was a very effective kill. Very nice special effects right there. So that scene in Nightmare 3, the puppet kill, is my favorite kill in the franchise. Question number 5. Is Freddy vs. Jason better as a Nightmare on Elm Street film or a Friday the 13th film? That's a pretty interesting question. Now, some people have said it works better as a Nightmare on Elm Street. Some people say it works better as a Friday the 13th film because it's more geared toward Jason. Some say it's geared more toward Freddy. But in my honest opinion, it's really neither. The Freddy vs. Jason is its own movie. It has nothing to do with either franchise. All basically what they did was take the two top horror icons and put them in the film together. You do have elements of both films, but it's its own movie. To me, that's what it is. As you got, Freddy gets his kills, Jason gets some of his kills. You do have a nice battle in both their worlds. We have Freddy kicking Jason's ass in the dream world, and then when Freddy gets brought back into reality, and then Jason starts kicking Freddy's ass in the real world. So we both have elements of both movies in this movie, but to me, it's its own standalone movie. It has nothing to do with either franchises. All the writers did, and New Line Cinema and Paramount did, was take, well, I guess it was New Line because they actually bought the Friday the 13th rights. All they did was just take two horror icons, put them together, and they created this own great horror picture. And very fantastic. I really enjoyed the movie, but it's its own movie. It has nothing to do with either franchises. That's just my opinion. Question number 6. Who is your favorite final girl in the franchise? Now, this franchise doesn't have that many final girls. I believe there's four. Obviously, you have Nancy, you have Lori. I can't remember Lisa Zane's character, and I think her name is Lorraine, or I can't remember her name in the whatchamacallit. And then you have Monica Keenan's character in Freddy versus Jason. So there's only basically been four final girls in the franchise. Now, I actually thought some time ago, but I'm just going to go with everyone else is going to be. There's no choice. It's Nancy. Heather Langenkamp. She is the best final girl in the franchises. She does what she has to do in order to stave off Freddy. She fights him despite all the obstacles in her way, whether it's her mother, drunk mother in the first movie, barring up the whatchamacallit, or whether it's her father trying to think that he's protecting her when she knows that up against Freddy. And then she actually starts learning about survival skills and setting up booby traps and battling Freddy to make sure that Freddy will not win. And she does the same thing in the third movie. And she really shines in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. She's the main focal point of that movie. And Heather Langenkamp did an excellent job in the New Nightmare movie that Wes Craven made. So yeah, bottom line, no doubt about it. It's Nancy. She's everyone's favorite final girl in the franchise. Question number 7: what would you like to see in the next installment of the franchise? I have, to be honest, I really haven't a clue as far as what they're going to do for the next Freddy film. Some people say would like to see Robert Englund back in the fold. Some people like to see Heather Langenkamp come back. To me, that would be too similar to what they're doing with Halloween, having Nick Castle and Jamie Lee Curtis come back together in the first film. And I said that's too much like Halloween. If they're going to do something, if they are going to reboot again A Nightmare on Elm Street, they have to do something totally different. You don't want to do the same thing that somebody else is doing. You want to do something different because you want to hold your own. Yeah, it would be nice to see Robert Englund come back. Yes, it'd be nice to see Heather Langenkamp come back. But to me, that's sort of copying what they're doing with the new Halloween movie. And I don't think that's what you want to do. You want to create your own story. If you're going to reboot this franchise, you want to do it something not similar to what they're doing. Yeah, it'd be nice to have those two characters back and have those two actors come back, but to me, that's sort of like they're just doing the same thing what Halloween's doing, and that to me, that's not really what you want to do. To be honest, I think obviously you don't want to make the same mistakes that they made with the remake, and I blame that mainly on Rua Mara because she was terrible in this picture. From what I understand, what I read, that she hated the picture, she didn't want to be in it to begin with, and it shows in her performance. I really felt sorry for Jackie. I can't remember his name. His name does not come to me. It'll come to me sooner or later. I felt sorry for him because I thought he actually did a pretty good job as Freddy Krueger. Um, he put his own stamp on it. He did not want to imitate what Robert Englund has done with Freddy Krueger. So he put his own stamp on it. I thought he did a pretty good job as Freddy Krueger. But because the story was a bit bogged down and because of Rana Mara's terrible performance as Nancy, it really did not do a good job for that remake. So if I like to see the next installment of the franchise, try to do something totally different. Don't do the same thing what they do with Halloween, right? The Halloween that's coming up right now. Just create your own story. And now for the 8th and final question, reenact your favorite line from the franchise. Now, being that this is Freddy Krueger and he's got plenty of one-liners that crack people up, from the line that just said in Nightmare 2, he's got dozens in Nightmare 3, he's got dozens in Nightmare 4, even Freddy's Dead, the final Nightmare, he's got a whole bunch of them in Freddy versus Jason, a whole bunch of excellent one-liners. But obviously, you people know me, you know what my favorite line is. Yes, it's called Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors, where he talks gently, Jennifer is trying to watch some TV, and he gives one of the best lines that I've ever heard in a horror movie. You know, I'm not going to say it. Let Freddy tell you himself.
Jennifer, you're big breaking TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Well, that is it. That is all the questions for the Freddy Krueger tag. Once again, this is Sean Ershen's the Horror Corners tag. If you decide to do this tag, now normally at this time of the video you're supposed to tag people, but I'm really not going to tag anybody. If you want to do the tag, I will leave the questions in the description box below. Make sure if you do the tag, make sure you do give Sean Erschen the credit. Like I said, his channel is called the Horror Corner. Like I said, I will leave a link in the description below, so that way, if you do decide to do the tag, make sure you give him the credit. And that, like I said, if you do decide to do the tag, make sure you do give him the credit. Just in case if he wants to create a playlist, that way he can get your video and put it on his playlist. Like I said, do give him the credit. Well, that's my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And then once again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share, because it does help the channel out a lot. And of course, if this is your first time here, you know what you got to do. That's right. Hit that subscriber button and definitely ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, all my social media links will be down in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules.